Hi everyone, welcome to Marika Creations. Today it's time for some wooden decor DIYs. I have a couple of decor windows for you, a couple of candle holders and a wall art piece that you can use for either candles or some greenery or something. So stay tuned for this.
I will start with two decorative windows and I will make them 30, 40 centimeters high. I will make them from MDF, and here I'm taking just a plate to have the top rounded, and I cut that to size, and I want these windows to look a little bit like church windows. So I'm taking different sizes of circles here to form a nice looking patterns to windows. It's very hard to see, it looks like just a blank paper here, but here you can see I filled out all my lines. So I have two windows and sort of a rosette window on the top there, I don't know what you call them, and then I have traced that outer shape on an MDF sheet, or I have two here locked together so I have them exactly the same size. And the next thing, I'm taking some cardboard paper and I will trace my design onto one of the pieces. This video is part of the What Would You Make challenge hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY and Divine Designs, and their guest host for this month is At Home with Chris. You will have links to their channels down in my description box, along with a link to the playlist of this challenge for more wooden decor ideas. I'm taking two of my cutout windows, put them together, and now I will drill out the round shapes and then take my jigsaw to cut out the windows so I have them sort of identical. Then I have two more of these shapes, and that will be the background for my windows. You will see in just a moment. So this is how they look, one background and one window like this, and I have two of them. They are not exactly correct, a little bit wobbly here and there, but that doesn't matter because now I will cover that window piece with some air dry clay. I have a mold of lace looking pieces that I will put around that window to make it more ornate, give it more dimension. So I'm cutting out my pieces, place them out, and once I'm done with the whole thing, I will take some wood glue and just attach them onto this window piece. Once I have attached all the pieces, I go over the whole thing with some water on a paintbrush to smooth out the edges. And the next day, this is how they look. I have different air dry clay on them, that's why they look different. And the lighter one cracked a little bit, so I mended it with some spackle, and now it's time for painting, and I gave it a base coat of my light grayish color. Just press that paint into all the nooks and crannies of the piece. Now I'm taking some black acrylic paint with a lot of water in it and put it on, press it into the nooks and crannies, and then take a piece of tissue and wipe off the excess paint. That will give it more of a dimension that will in the end make the texture pop. Once I started to dry brush it with my light grayish color, as I do here, just see the difference. You can really see that texture. And I do that on both of them, of course. Set them aside to dry. Now I'm working on the backgrounds. One coat of my light grayish color to have a base to work on, a blank canvas, if you will. And I want sort of a garden scenery here. I know it's winter almost, late autumn, and maybe it should have been something with more fall colors, but I want my garden to look more like a spring painting, so that's what I'm going for here. Longing for spring already, I guess. If you don't want to paint anything, you can just take a picture online, a free printout or a picture from a magazine, and put it there as a beautiful background, and you're done. And here I'm making some branches because I will paint some wisteria hanging down there from the top, like you see me do here, putting on a darker color as a background, and then a lighter, and then an even lighter color to get some depth into the painting. It will not be a very complicated painting this. I will do the wisteria and then I will do some decoupage on the bottom. So here I am putting on some Mod Podge on the bottom part of my backgrounds here and set that aside to dry. And I have some beautiful rose napkins that I want to use here, and I'm just tearing out pieces that I think will fit. And then I take some parchment paper and some heat and sand off the excess. And I continue till I'm happy with the result, just the lower part. And then I put some more Mod Podge on top of my piece. Here I'm putting on a coat of my satin finished varnish that I like to use to protect my creations. And I do that both on the windows and on the background. Set everything aside to dry. And here I am putting on some wood glue on that window, just on the outer rim there. Spread it out with a paintbrush, and then I will put the two pieces together and put something heavy on top and let it sit overnight to dry completely. And then I will paint the sides and the back of my pieces. You will see the final reveal at the end of the video.
If you're new to my channel, hi, I am Marika, and on this channel I do lots of DIYs, thrift flips, trash to treasure, renovation of my home, and I even do some pottery and some painting, anything creative really. Please join me, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and let me inspire you.
Next I will make some wall decor, and I have this piece, the wooden plank that I used actually as a rustic centerpiece once upon a time, and I will use part of it like this big, and I will have rounded edges on it. So I just take something round, and then I will have 3 spots where I will have some candle holders, sort of, you will see. So I will mark everything out. And then I will drill where I have marked some decorative pieces on the sides and for the candle holders as well. And once I'm done, I will cut out the shape of my piece as well with the jigsaw. And then I will sand the piece off. And here I'm taking my wood router and round the edges to get a very nice finish, and also the decorative bits on the sides. I will use the wood router there as well. Here I have taken some tiny pieces from a curtain rod that I will use these beautiful metal hardware on, but I need to round them, and I will do that on my belt sander. So this is how it's going to look. The rounded wooden piece there, put that in the hole, and the metal piece on top. And then I have these round things that I cut off from a piece that I made last week that I will have there, and that will hold a candle holder. So I'm making my pilot holes to attach that wooden piece first thing, like that. And I put on some wood glue, put it into place, and attach it with a screw from the back of the piece, and I do that with all three of them. And then I take some strong adhesive on that little wooden piece to attach the metal pieces, like this. And then I have a hole there showing, so I decided to take some air dry clay and make some cute flowers to cover those holes. And then I will attach those flowers and the metal pieces with some more of the same strong adhesive, like this, and set it aside to dry. Now it looks like this, but it's not very pretty with those different type of colors and the blue air dry clay there. I like the color of the vintage hardware that I picked up at the flea market, and I'm painting the other pieces to match using my moody colors, my brown, green and black acrylic paint, dabbing around, working in layers, drying in between the layers. Once I'm happy with the result, I go in and dry brush all the metal pieces there with some gold acrylic paint, just to make that texture pop. In the cutouts at the ends, I decided to go in with a moody kind of napkin, do some decoupage, putting on some Mod Podge, put the pieces in place, and then some more Mod Podge on top. And then I will set it aside to dry completely and sand off the excess napkin. And here I'm going in on the decoupage with some varnish and also on the metal pieces. Last thing I will do is to go in on this oak wood with some black stain to darken it a little bit, to make it more vintage looking. I will give you a closer look at the end of the video. Last but not least, I will make some cute candle holders, and I will use some MDF. I have already cut out 4 bigger circles and 4 smaller circles, and I will use this curtain rod as well, or part of it, and I have some scrap pieces of wood that I will also use on the top of my candle holders, ones looking like this. I have all my wood rounds, everything I'm going to use, and the curtain rod pieces as well, and I will round the edges on all of them, make them nice and smooth to the touch on my belt sander here. So this is how they're going to look. 2 of the bigger ones like this and the smaller one, and then just the same with the other one, the curtain rod pieces, and then a smaller one on top like that, and these pieces on the very top. Perfect, right? So now I am putting them together with some wood glue and some clamps. And the rod I will attach with a screw, making some pilot holes before I attach it. Also use some wood glue there. If you like this video and videos like this, consider subscribing. Maybe share the video with a friend and hit that like button as well. It will help my channel to grow, and I can spend more time creating inspirational content for you. My aim is to upload 1 video per week. Here I'm going in with some spackle on a paintbrush to fill in all the seams where there are gaps in between the pieces, so I will have a nice seamless finish. And I will set everything aside to dry. And then it's time for painting, and I'm putting on 2 coats of my light greyish color on the whole piece, but I'm not done just yet. I have decided to decoupage that wooden rod. I have already put on a coat of Mod Podge that has dried, and now I'm going over it with some heat and a parchment paper in between my beautiful napkin there, and then another coat of Mod Podge on top. Set it aside to dry, and then it's time for some air dry clay with this silicone mold here that looks like lace. So I have some pieces done already. I will put that thinner piece on the bottom of my candle holder like this, just with some wood glue on it, and smooth everything out with some water on a paintbrush, just with a light touch, pressing it into place. So I have 3 places where I have my air dry clay, and then I will set everything aside to dry. And here I am, gently putting on some of my light greyish color here. I don't want to mess up anything on that decoupage, so I'm working with a small paintbrush. And here I'm going in with some black with a lot of water in it to get in to all the nooks and crannies, to create some dimension, to bring out that texture, wiping off the excess with just a paper tissue as I go. And once that has dried, I'm going in dry brushing all the air dry clay pieces with some light grayish color to really make that texture pop. And the last thing I do is my varnish to protect the colors, just one coat. Let's see how everything turned out. Voila! Here is my wooden wall piece with some cute little glass candle holders in that metal structure that I made. I have placed it so it's very close to that shelf, so I can't have tea lights in it. So I decided to go for some greenery instead. And here are my other pieces in my master bedroom, looking very nice, I think. I think they turned out beautiful. I'm happy with the result and those beautiful windows as well. So tell me, what do you think of my wooden decor pieces today? Did you have a favorite? Let me know in the comments. If you are inspired and you want more inspiration straight away, head on over to my description box and hit the link to the playlist of this challenge for more wooden decor ideas. Thank you so very much for watching. See you soon again in my next one. Until then, take care. Bye.